So just a bit of an update on what's been going on. As you can see, we managed to get the Golf in the garage. We've had to make some improvements, should I say. Get rid of a few things. So the rear axle is just about ready to be dropped. It's just held on by the main axle bolt for the bush now, and supported by this jack, just to allow the brake lines to drain down. One of those come off okay. I'm just letting that self-drain into that canister there. The other one, unfortunately, it got halfway loose and then decided to twist the pipe. So this, once I gave it a once over, basically decided that the whole lot needed to go. So the bushes were pretty much gone. The calipers have probably seen better days. Discs definitely have. The fact that they're all seized on anyway sort of gives me all that sort of confirmation. The brake shield that sits on the back of the axle plate, that's all corroded, so we're going to replace that as a wanner basically. That's what we've got so far. What we're going to do is we're going to drop this side first, because the way they put the bolts in, the head of the bolt actually comes from this side and goes in through the bush, through the support bracket on the chassis, and because the fuel tank is in a way, then you won't be able to get that bolt out. So there's two ways you can go about that. You can either go the long and hardest way of cutting the bloody thing off, or what I've managed to do is retaining bolts for the bracket. We're going to loosen those off and drop that bracket with the axle as a wanner. That'll be able to allow me access then to get to that retaining bolt, push it out, and then remove the support bracket, clean it up, and then put it back in place. And needless to say, most if not all of these bolts are going to be replaced anyway, because according to VW they're supposed to be one-time use. So we'll go for the rigmarole of start buying all those parts the end of this month, that being end of January. And it's good to say that obviously I've got the new rear axle frame already ordered. It arrived yesterday, and at the moment the car is basically used as a storage area. But yeah, it's all brand new, bushes already fitted, and it came with the two brand new retaining bolts. It's from a company on the well-known auction site. So that cost me 114 quid, free delivery. Got its primer coating on everything, bushes and all that sort of stuff. What I might do is maybe just give certain areas a bit of an extra coating with some anti-rust paint or something. Obviously the rear pipes that go over this, the rear brake pipes, they're all going to be new, so they're again going to be ordered at the end of the month. So essentially it's going to have complete rear end stub axle assembly fitted to this vehicle, and hopefully that will complete this part. That's the area that I've got to work with. Give me a little heater there, and fridge freezer, and then that's the side. And then if I just turn around, I've got my little seat and then the back door and all the tools and everything, so not a great deal of room. So the plan is obviously we'll get this out tomorrow. I don't think there's going to be anything I'm going to be able to recover on this. Maybe the clips for the brake pipes. I'm not too sure yet. I think they're 10 a penny on eBay. I might do it as a job lot. The only other things are the ABS sensors. However, from previous videos that I've seen, they are an absolute pain to get out undamaged. So again, might have to go down the route of just replacing those. Obviously making a move now. I know it's been a bit quiet over the last few months, but just to sort of let you guys know that things are actually starting now, they're underway, and hopefully we can continue getting this Golf Mark 4 restored and up and running by summertime with a bit of luck. Okay, so from where I left off then, we just had the main axle to drop. And in between that, what I've done is I've taken off the hub nut, because we'll use that to push on the new hub onto the bearing stubber axle. The caliper carrier, that needs to come off on this one. It's already off on the other side, but I'll do this when it's actually being dropped onto the ground. And as I said before, because of the way that they fitted the bolt, there was no way that I was going to be able to get that off, because the bolt basically needed to be extracted towards the fuel tank. So what we've done is we've taken that bracket off, lowered it down enough, and obviously that's freed that up. And I think you can just see in there, you can see how poor that condition that is. So I'll clean up that surface, put a little bit of anti-rust stuff on, put the bracket back in, ready for the new axle to go in. So all I've got left to do now is to just go over to this side, push that bolt out, and then this can be extracted, ready for the new one to basically put into place. Okay, so there's the old axle. I managed to get the carrier off that one, so we can resurrect that. Couldn't get these off, they're just rounded inside, so when we get the new speed sensor I'll have to get a couple of new retaining bolts, so I'll look for them later on. I mentioned about these things, okay, they're quite easy to do. Obviously this bit slips into there, so normally it would sit in there like that, and then the other side pops through here. Okay, pops in, and the way they're secured is obviously that's what goes in to the actual dowel hole, and on the other side you've literally got this bit of plastic that when you push it flush splays these out and locks that into place. So to get them out, obviously you'll find there's a load of earth and dust and rust and God knows what else debris in there. Just clear that out as much as you can until you can see the bung, and all I did was basically put a screwdriver through that hole, goes into the bottom of there, and then just tap it out and it releases. So they could be used on the new one. That's pretty much it for salvaging what's left on this now. So this will be off to the scrap. Obviously we've kept the main axle stub nut. We'll use that for when we put on the new bearing system. Obviously you can see that this has had a fair bit of corrosion to it. Calipers, I'm not going to bother trying to refurbish those, they're just going to get replaced. Brand new calipers, brand new pipes, they'll be next on order, and then we'll start reassembling. Okay, that's that one out. This is the new axle, and obviously due to the limited space it's going to be a little bit challenging, but we'll get things done. So what have we got so far then? So picked up the new dust shields, we've got brand new stub axles and brand new OEM stub axle retaining bolts. These are M10 by 32, so there's 8 of those, and we've also got the new brake line clips which will go on these areas here that they've nicely covered over for me, which is good. So hopefully by the end of today we'll have this lot fitted to both sides, all torqued, and then it's just a case then of ordering the next parts, which will be the brake lines, hub bearing, and then calipers. So stay with us, I'll do some part videos just to show the assembly sort of process. There's nothing really difficult about it, it's just bolting stuff together. Just make sure you get the right torques in the right place, and we'll go from there. So Okay, so new stub axle, which will go on there, and the way this goes is the dust shield actually goes over, and it should match up like so, and then we put the bolts in through the carrier, and then the fourth one we'll stick that in the viz. We'll put that in the top there, and it's just a simple case then of installing it onto the stub axle itself. Just get one to catch. There's the second one. There's the third. And hopefully the fourth. If you're doing your new bolts, it's a good idea to run them through the main axle threads in the first instance, just in case they've oversprayed and they've got a bit of paint on the thread. The last thing you want to do is cross thread any of these or damage your bolts. So that's in place. I'll just show you that. There you go. And obviously we've got access for our main sensor there. Just bear in mind, obviously whatever sensor you get, it's got to go in this extrusion. Just be mindful, you may, not always, but you may have to Dremel this out just slightly, just for in order for that plug to actually come through. But otherwise, that's essentially the passenger side of the near side done. What I'm going to do now is basically set my torque wrench and we'll get these torqued in. And I believe they're, I think they're 45 pounds a foot. I'll have a look in a minute. I'll put up the correct torque value in a minute. We'll go and find out what the details are and we'll get those torqued. So, just going to tighten these four up now using a 16mm socket, and we set our torque to 60 Newton meters. So the quick look on the books. So we'll go through now and just get these adjusted. That one. This one here. Yeah. And the last one. Awesome. And it's just a case of repeat on the other side now, and that's that bit now ready for the bearings, which we'll order in a couple of weeks' time. So it'll be the hub bearing that'll go on here. It'll have its own brand new hub nut, which is the 30mm one, which is a nylock. I've kept the old ones simply because the nylock's obviously been chewed up. So when we're going to put the new hub bearing on, I can use the old nut to actually persuade it in, so pushing that bearing straight on here. And I take the old nut off and then I put on the new one, and then that will get torqued to 175 newtons, I believe. That's quite a fair bit of torque. So that's the game plan for the next phase, which will be in a couple of weeks' time. I have got some red oxide paint. I'm just sort of conscious of whether I need to sort of maybe coat the inside of this dust shield or the outside. I'm not too sure. What do you lot think? Do we just leave it as is, or do we just put a little bit of extra protection on there? Let us know in the comments. All the feedback is greatly received, and we'll crack on with the other side now, and we'll catch up with you again in a few weeks' time. Awesome. Catch you later.